I had been gone for some time, lost in the woods, stoned off of fermented fruits and tainted nuts, forgotten and otherwise left completely alone with a twinge of desperation tugging at the emotional strings. Suicidal, you might say, or on the cusp of self-inflicted harm. That is, until I stumbled across a creature so revolting and yet comforting that I was made to stop and reevaluate my life situation. Some might have once considered this beast a porcupine, but given its current appearance and demeanor, I figured it an animal that had long been exposed to toxic waste. Its barbs were elongated, 4 feet in length and thousands in number, its teeth razor sharp and oozing with primordial venom, and its eyes red and beady, mystical and omnipotent. I knew the mutated porcupine would change the nature of the game, so I tucked it away in my bear pouch and set forth towards civilization. The first town was a shithole in the desert, an abandoned military compound with shipping containers and an observation deck. I figured it inconspicuous and uninhibited. Before long, however, the porcupine threw the ignition to its ESP and began vomiting lasers out of its eyeballs. Phantoms entwined in camouflage and moist with fear soon exploded into blackened flames. Battle was afoot, you see, and I was at its very center. At the heart of the observation deck, the porcupine took a moment to evacuate its bowels, dropping an explosive deuce that detonated upon proximity. Startled by the display, I took a few moments to gather my courage. It's not every day one sees plastiques alongside toilet paper. It wasn't long until I was awoken from my stupor, forced to dispatch a scientist hell-bent on examining the inner workings of porcupine digestion. It was clear that the starport was not the bastion I considered it to be, so I hightailed it the hell out of there. Maneuvering my way through an underground tunnel system, I berthed myself from the other end, pausing just momentarily to execute a legionnaire taking a sunbath. I knew that the porcupine and I were in dire straits, so I unpacked my Ouija board and let it go to work. The plastic device motioned of its own accord, summoning the hell demon Hades. Angered from being awoken, he set the atmosphere on fire, granting me enough time to test the danger and make my escape back into the tunnels. It appeared that both ends were hot zones, and unsure of what to do, I abandoned reason and ran face first towards any exit that I could find. The move proved faulty, but the rejuvenating powers of the porcupine granted us a second chance, so we set back to work. After slipping through an abandoned office building, we first assassinated a 3-star general, and then, soon after, his haughty lover who dared take us by surprise. I whistled for a recon falcon and then took a moment to wipe the dust from my pelt before poking my head outside. In the distance, I noticed a homeless person setting up tent in a shipping container. Well, I had had my fill of Social Security payments, so the porcupine skewered his testicles with poisonous needles. Whilst petting my new beastkin, I was most taken aback by another squatter hiding in a cage, but he too was put down like the mongrel he is with calm, cool calculation. Still ravenous with bloodlust, I filled the beast's goblet using the back of another blissful moron. Back inside the office, my spider sense tingled until I was granted reward in the vein of another free kill. I once again reaped the rewards of ice-cold slaughter and radioed in another firebombing. I turned the corner inside and met fist to face while the glory of brimstone exploded in the distance. After salting the ground with a detonating gift box, I abandoned the scene before things got too hairy. Surprise, 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 another one bit the dust in a puff of headlines, allowing me passage first outside and then down into the welcoming, gaping mouth of the catacombs below. Upon entering the basin, I popped the festering tick that awaited. Shortly after, however, I was consumed by the knife of a bris-happy rabbi. Not to be deterred, I was granted one more trespass into the battle arena where I poisoned the wounds of another oblivious Neanderthal. With a swift reload of my mutated porcupine, I set off for more action, but the sudden escalation of war seemed to have died down. Once overflowing chasms of violence had run dry, so I was without much to do but creep around, avoiding ambush with a puckered cornhole. I do recall giving praise to the dark gods above for giving me this relentless demon animal just before returning to the blackened, bombed-out law office. It, too, was silenced of any action, so I considered the basement for one last hurrah. I shook off a sudden blindness after procuring my last kill, when, suddenly, everything ended. I was alone with the animal, everything appearing as it had before the battle started. It was at that point where I shuddered and questioned the motives and the powers of the Porcupine. I simply put it down and then walked away.